All right, Kim here with Lead Generation Source. Joanne's still without a microphone, but I've got Chrissy on with me to kind of help monitor stuff. Hey, Alonso, I take it you can at least hear me and hopefully see my screen. I have to flip back and forth today because I'm on my laptop with a sick little girl, but she's in the other room watching TV, so I think she'll be okay. So I'm going to actually try to pop this out for right now. Maybe not. Pop out chat. Do this for now. Hey, Joanne. How's it going? How is everybody on this fine Wednesday? Good. Well, it's great. Great to hear you're great. All right, let's just give it another minute or so and see who else hops on. And of course, we're going to focus specifically on print on demand. Alonzo, watching soccer, huh? Oh, it just finished. Good timing. They're like, Kim's got a webinar. We have to stop now. Hopefully, Joanne, you know that stuff, technology takes a little while to kind of tweak. A lot of Googling whenever I get new stuff. Okay, so I know we had a couple of new people that were joining into the group, but I doubt they had time to come in here. But if we have anybody new, welcome. And you can see my stuff is already getting all wonky. So Chrissy's going to help me. She's going to watch the chat, and I'm going to click over to the screen, so I won't be able to see your guys' questions. So Chrissy's going to help monitor that. Say hi, Chrissy.
Just don't write any questions because I probably won't read them. No, I'm just kidding.
You're just a geek. Okay, so today is July 11th. Let's make sure that's correct. Yep, July 11th. And like I said on Monday, we're gonna switch everything to Wednesdays. So and then next week, I want to remind everybody that next week it's gonna be an hour earlier. So it'll start at 4 p.m. Eastern time. That will interfere with soccer, for the record. All right, so this week we're going to talk about the print on demand. That's mostly because all of us have been kind of reinfused with information now from T-Rex and PrintTech. And what I kind of want to do is I want us to take a step back because I've seen a lot of questions, or at least several questions, in the T-Rex group about, oh, how do I get started? I've been away. Where do I start? Et cetera, et cetera. So there's really no one answer to everybody, right? Everybody's got to decide their own path. But there is some information that would come in handy before making that decision. Now, all of us here are kind of in the same boat where we're not making a ton of sales. So where do we focus our efforts?
Can you pause for a sec?
Yeah.
Do you want me to interrupt you for questions?
If they're related.
I don't know. But first of all, this was very important. There is no soccer next week. Don't you know what today was?
No.
Who won, by the way?
Was it the Super Bowl?
Seriously?
I don't know what soccer's finale is.
It was the World Cup, but who won? I wasn't watching. Oh, okay, Sunday. So they're just asking about, you're going to go over the
Launchpad.
Said something about reveal last night. Let's see. Did you see the print on demand webinar today with Michael? I don't know how to say that name.
Michael Shee.
Sure. And Fred Lamb.
Yeah, I didn't see it today. I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, go look at those for a second.
What?
So, yeah, look at that for a second.
Yeah, Sandra. Yeah, I'll cover the big reveal about. Oh, for the love of all that's holy.
That's good. Take that. So Sandra, I wasn't listening either. I wasn't listening before you got on, so I didn't know that she said that.
I didn't say that. Alonzo knows because he sent me a message last night.
Oh, okay. See, I was like, I wasn't listening to that part apparently.
Yes, I know. Well, I'll talk about that towards the end because that's something that I keep wanting to call you Aunt Chrissy. Aunt Chrissy doesn't want to have to cover that.
That's okay. Lots of people comment that.
There were two chat boxes because I had it open on my screen. Okay, so anyway, so print on demand, most of us here, or at least probably everybody here right now, knows that print on demand, print to garment stuff, what that is, the general concept of it. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on any of those elements. What I want to talk about is the difference between a website, Amazon, and Amazon Etsy integration, and then how you promote those. Because Chrissy and I were talking about that, and she said that she was a little bit confused on that.
I did.
And yeah, you said it would be better to go over some ideas on that. So I'm going to show you guys exactly the difference of what these are. Okay. So you've got your idea, and it can be research based or it can be from your head. And I'm going to tell you, I've used this example a lot in the past. EP Laser. I have several products that do well because they're research based, where I designed them based on my research, and then I have a couple that have done exceptionally well that were just in my head. Right? They're just like the Celtic ones. They were just, oh, I think those would look cool. And I didn't do any research until I went to fine tune keywords. And even then I still could probably do better. And, it does well. So there's no real rules to it. It's just that the difference is that if you do your research here, you have less to do on your fine tuning, right? Because now you are like, okay, I've now designed Celtic ornaments. I know exactly where I need to go from there. So I know that they're, Christmas related. I know that, there's all the different terms that I've already done that research. So I don't have to fine tune it as much. Now you'll always be fine tuning as you come up with a new word. There was one, I was watching a YouTube video about something completely not related and about merch by Amazon. And he made the comment, he's like, oh yeah, succulents. People who garden also use the term succulents or something like that. And I was like,
just picked up fabric with that on it.
Right. So I'm like, so that's a keyword that I would have never thought of if I was doing gardening. So even if you just have I wish I was gardening.
I'd rather be gardening.
Yeah, I'd rather be gardening or something like that. And then you have, whether you have that on there or not, it's just the words. You could still use that keyword, that succulent keyword, if it's a popular one. So that's why there's still some more fine tuning to do once you have your idea. But regardless, you could do it either way. And once you have your idea, you can fine tune your research either at the same time or at some period. There's no real timeline on this other than before. Actually, this has to happen before these levels, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So once you have your idea, you also need to come up with a design. You can design it yourself, or you can send it out to a designer. And we've talked about that in the past, and we'll talk about it again in the future at some point. But for now, I just want to just touch on the fact that there has to be a design, right? And so then from there, once you've done your research and you've done your design, and I guess I could have an arrow here as well, this is where you're going to put your, for our purposes, it's going to be print tech. So we're going to say print tech loading. So of course, if you're using some other platform, some of the more popular ones. So they had mentioned Printful, but I heard a rumor that Printful is really low quality. So just as a side note for anybody who heard that.
Shirts, but I loved their pillow.
Yeah, their pillow. Yeah, we should probably try one of their shirts because they supposedly have a pretty good integration.
Printful is highly used on Etsy. So a lot of people use it.
Yeah. So anyway, but we have Print Tech, so they're a good resource, and they have the integrations. Of course, the integrations are with, right now you can do it with Shopify, which of course, if it's Shopify is still your own website, right? So you can do, that's an integration, it's a Shopify integration. Or of course we have our T-Rex site. And the reason why I'm putting these up here are that these, in this lovely little house type thing, is going to be your site. These are your sites. These are going to be Amazon or Etsy. And I'm going to change the font color just a second. Because Amazon and Etsy, these are the integrations. It doesn't integrate with the T-Rex site, by the way. It does integrate with Shopify. It does integrate with Amazon. It does integrate with Etsy. Let's put a space there, or not. So if you have, like I don't have a Shopify integration yet, which I might, because I'm thinking about adding on Pillow Profits and then another one that I can't remember the name off the top of my head. So because I've told you guys about Pillow Profits, how they have shoes and like bedding and stuff. So it's pretty cool. So if you find like an all over design, we don't have a whole lot of all over options for with PrintTech, but they have a lot of different things. You know, PrintTech's got the engraved items, everything else. So there's a lot of potential. If you don't want to go anywhere else but with PrintTech, you could literally go and you could skip your T-Rex site, skip a Shopify site, and just focus on Amazon, Etsy, and still build a business. Now, I still think at some point you need to have your own website. And the reason why is because as you build your brand, people are going to start to search for it. There's actually some really good examples where people have started out a brand on Amazon and then people started searching for them and now they sell through their own site and make more money.
People search for my company through Google and then get back to Etsy on my shop from that way because they just remember my name. Well, brand name.
Yeah, and so now the biggest difference between these two is going to be traffic and how you promote it, right? So this is internal and external traffic. You can have both, right? Whereas with your site, with whether it's a T-Rex site or a Shopify site, it's your site, right? So it's branded as you. It looks like your site. It's if nobody's ever heard of you, it's somebody's going to www.iveneverbeenhere.com. That would be actually a really cool website. But anyway, not for selling stuff, but maybe for travel. So here, the only thing you can do is external traffic because there's no natural internal traffic. Both Amazon and Etsy have natural internal traffic. And so what that does is that means that there's a couple of things. Is that you're sending the traffic, external traffic, that you have to send the traffic here. So let's see here. So your traffic, and this actually applies to both. So your traffic could be, if it's coming from like Facebook or something, it could be browsers. Oops, spell that right. Browsers. So people who don't buy. They could be people who are low quality. People who aren't going to convert anyway, which may or may not be browsers. They may be people who want to buy and they're just out of the price range. They could be competitors, which you can get that anyway on Amazon and Etsy, but this is the traffic you're sending. And it doesn't matter which way you send them, that can happen. But the difference is that when somebody comes to your site and you're not known, that it's basically a very cold audience. People, they're less likely to buy. So conversions tend to be maybe 1 to 6%, and that would be 6% would be after you've actually established a customer base. So you're more likely at the 1 to 2% range. So that means that if you want to get one buyer, you have to drive 100 people to your site. And so if we do that math from Facebook, let's say that let's do it backwards. So you want one buyer, you need to get 100 people to your site for the 1%. Nope, I did that wrong. Well, anyway, so we have 100 people that we need to get divided by 0.01. Okay, then that would be 10,000 people that need to view your ad. And we've talked about this, the cost per thousand. So now we're going to say, so it's going to be 10 times whatever that is, right? So if your cost per thousand to get people to click through, we're now looking at 10,000 people have to view your ad. And if your cost per thousand is $20, which we talked about in the past being a good number, under $20, but let's just say it's at $20, you're now going to do 10 times, oops, not divided by, dang it, I hate when I do that. 10 times 20, which I could have done in my head, $200 just to get one potential buyer with this conversion rate. And that's just a standard, and Facebook prices have gone up. So $20 might not even be, $20 for cost per thousand may even be a little bit on the low side now, like on the moderate, I should say. So that's not an unreasonable number. So you may end up spending $200 to get one buyer here. Now you keep doing that over and over and over again, and you'll have lookalike audiences, and you can fine tune it and get your percentage up and blah, blah, blah. But you're gonna have to spend some money, right, on Facebook or anything else. Now, I should also qualify that with, and we'll talk about marketing specifically with ads another time because that's going to be a little bit more in depth. But when you're retargeting, your retargeting is going to increase that as well. And so if you're driving traffic to your site, you have your pixels. So that is a big plus, right? That's a huge plus. That's an equals. Plus is that pixel data. You cannot get pixel data with Amazon or Etsy, at least not right now. Now, while that sounds bad, both of these companies have their own retargeting. Doesn't necessarily mean not necessarily with your product, but a lot of times what they will do is they will retarget. If somebody has visited your specific listing, they will go ahead and retarget them for a period of time with your listing. They've been doing it forever. I remember the first time I got on Amazon and I was doing listings, I'm like, why do I keep seeing an ad for my own product? That doesn't make any sense. You think they'd want to target me with something else. Well, it's because they don't know. You know, they don't know that that's me. They don't have, they may now, but they didn't back then have the capability to determine that I was also the seller of it, which I think I still see my ads. But so you can, they have their own retargeting, and it's not just, you know, it's not like, oh, they're going to retarget you on Amazon. They don't. They actually, what they do is they retarget you with ads from, like, if you go to somebody's website and they have, you know, they're using the Google Ad Network or whatever, they have ads all over the place where they're retargeting, because Amazon makes money when, you know, when they sell stuff on there. So they will show people, and they know the statistics that people are more likely to purchase something that they've already been exposed to. So they will show your product to other people without you paying. That's the key. And Etsy does the same thing, though Etsy's not as good about it as Amazon, but Etsy says they're increasing their reach. You have input for that, Chrissy?
Well, right now they haven't implemented anything because they're trying to build up for their big TV premiere thingamajigger that's at the end of the month. But I know that they're not doing very well with retargeting me, because every single time I get on there, I see all my stuff.
Right. Well, and that's the whole thing, is that, well, and I think that may
Other
just
people's
be,
stuff.
well, it could be just the pixel data, the way they have it set could be wrong, or it could be that they just still don't have the capability to determine you're the seller.
It says Amazon, Etsy don't give you the names or emails. Isn't Amazon hold back everything?
Yes.
Okay, Etsy, I get all the information for my customers, but if they don't buy from me, I don't get any information.
Right. So now the other thing is that you can, on here, well, and this is now the case. Let's do this. Hold on. So Amazon, they don't give you the emails, but you know what they do? They email retarget. So
Yeah,
they
they
already
do
send
it on that, but yeah.
They do it on Etsy too?
No,
you have to
I don't
pay
think
on
you have to
Etsy.
pay for it, yeah.
Yeah, Etsy has the option now, so you could do paid. So like, and that's for now here's the difference though, is that with Etsy and Amazon, which I don't think one's better than the other. I want to emphasize that there's not one that is better than the other. They both have their audiences, they both have their purposes, they both have plenty of success. So I just want to make sure you guys know, you see the difference here, that here you can have email retargeting up here. So let's say you do your own, let's do abandoned cart, right? So you can implement abandoned cart emails, but you have to capture the email. Here, this one is going to be, you're paying, so Etsy has the email. And then on Amazon also,
So
this is the
Etsy
difference.
has abandoned cart and recently favorited.
Right, so that's one that you can pay for. On Amazon, it's already included. Now, they don't always do it for every product, but I get emailed all the time when I'm working on my listings. All of a sudden, they'll be like, oh, you're interested in pharmacist ornaments. Here are 5 that we recommend. And of course, that one will be on there. The one that I was working on will be on there. But they'll also offer 4 others. So they already do email retargeting without you paying a dime. And they do it based on what you've looked at, not just added to cart. They may, if you leave it in your cart, they'll still send you an email and say, hey, you left this in your cart. Are you interested in purchasing it? So all of that stuff is already built into Amazon. And that's probably why it's a little bit higher to sell on Amazon than it is on Etsy, because Etsy, you have to pay for things separately. But now that that is an option, that is something that's worth looking into. This is not free. You can, I mean, I should say it can be free if you just stick with MailChimp and you limit your options. But to get the level of this or this would cost you money. So when you're paying your 15%, closing costs on Amazon or your 5% on Etsy, just keep in mind that you're still paying like 2 to 3% on here on your site anyway. Your conversions are going to be higher on here because, and I don't know that there's a solid number. It really does depend on a product. But if we were looking at a 1 to 6% conversion rate for your traffic here, if you were to drive the same traffic here, it would probably be closer to 10%. That's still not a break even if you're running Facebook ads, but it is something that improves. Now the difference is you have to drive the traffic to your site. On here, if you put a listing on Amazon or you put a listing on Etsy, people have a shot at seeing you. Even if you do everything wrong, there is a chance that somebody will see you. There is not a chance that somebody will see you here, especially since theoretically, if they typed it into a Google search, they could find you, but the likelihood of that is slim to none if you're not making sales, if you don't have traffic already, so you're already doing the steps if that's what's happening. So if you build a site and you put your products on it and you're like, oh, cool, I just got to make a sale. Okay, you still have to drive traffic. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't do it on your own site. It just means that you have to understand that Amazon and Etsy really give you an opportunity to test your products with better odds. So you could put a product out on Facebook, and I know I've mentioned this before, is like I could run an ad, the exact same ad, to one audience on Facebook and spend $100 and never get a sale. I could send it to a different audience, spend $100 and make 15 sales. It's just so, but I wouldn't know that until I've tested 10 different audiences. So there is potential on Facebook to drive it to your site and have a higher conversion rate, but statistically the odds are that it's a lot lower unless you already know unless you already have converting products. So let's say you start with Amazon and Etsy, you put 50 products on there. Right? So let's say you put 50 products on the site and you're like, okay, I've got 50 products listed, and you have 5 that start selling. Right? I know it's only 10% and you feel like you wasted your time with the other 45, but you have 5 that are selling, they start doing really well. I would say, yeah, let's push those to our site or load them to our site if it's the T-Rex site. And you can put in your funnels now and everything else. And now you start building your external traffic. Now there are internal ads on Amazon and Etsy, which will help you. The costs, I've never had any luck with Etsy ads, and I think that's because they're not very clear on how to use it. So we still have to do some more testing on that, but until we have more designs, I'm not going to worry about it. Were you going to say something crazy?
Yeah, we put a post on our site with. Okay, yeah, no, you're right. No, not all the fans will see on Facebook. Not all the fans will see a post, right?
Right. Yeah. So on Facebook, the reach right now it maxes out at about 2% without you paying. So, like, for example, we have just shy of 10,000 fans on our site. Oh no, that can't be right. I did that wrong. I had to have done that wrong. 10,000.
Well, anyway, the other thing is that you're talking, Facebook is not just buyers that go on it and see these things, right? I mean, and these people are doing other stuff, and so even if you get shown an ad, doesn't mean that person's going to go through. Amazon and Etsy, people go there to do either research or buy.
Well, and I would say not what am I doing there? Not really research. So that's the other thing is that
usually it's buying.
Right. Yeah. So this is a built-in buyer audience. Right. Whereas if you're depending on the platform you're marketing with, if you're going to Facebook, it's called interruption marketing. Right. If you have an ad on Amazon, you're not interrupting anybody because they're on there shopping. So it's just like if you were to have a display in a store, that's not interrupting anybody because they're there to buy something. So this is the same concept here. But now if you're like, oh, hey, I'm in the middle of a movie theater and I'm going to try to sell you something. Because remember, people on Facebook are looking for entertainment. So they've walked into a movie theater, and unless you're handing them candy or popcorn or drinks, they're not interested. Oh, you want to sell me a watch and you're in the middle of the movie theater? Yeah, no thanks, get out of my way. So that's the way it is on Facebook, is that unless you're putting something in front of them that is extremely hot and in demand, you're not going to have a very good reaction. Now, somebody may come up to you in the movie theater and go, wow, that watch is pretty cool. Yeah, I think I could get that for my dad or whatever. But again, that's going to be really slim compared to if you have a product that people want. Now, of course, if you're in a movie theater, you know your market, but the concept is that interruption marketing is less likely to be something that you can overcome. You have to overcome a lot more. So your cold audience has to be warmed up more when you're in interruption marketing. This one, because it's a built-in buyer audience, they're already, not only because it's a built-in buyer audience, so it's a built-in buyer audience. And they are buying from Amazon. So buying on Amazon, brands matter less. So you're a new brand, they're not as concerned about it because you're on Amazon. So they look at it as Amazon is selling that, even though you are. Trust me, I get this all the time. People contact me, they'll leave a thing and say, I can't believe blah, 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 something happened. And then I'll have to leave a comment and say, well, that's because of this. That's Amazon's policy. And then they get all upset and go, well, I thought Amazon sold this to me. And I'm like, no, actually, I sold it to you on the Amazon platform. And unfortunately, this happened because of Amazon's policy. And then they get all, whatever. So I have to explain to them, to people constantly, that they're not buying from Amazon, that they're buying from me. And that's because Amazon does sell stuff on their own platform. So it is confusing for the buyer. But like I said, Amazon's built a brand. Amazon's built a bunch of loyal followers. So people are more likely to purchase something on Amazon than they are on a site they've never seen before.
Well, Etsy's the same way, and people forget when, there's plenty of reviews. People say, I always come here, I come to Etsy. They don't say I come to this shop. They don't say, oh, this person did. A lot of people say Etsy. It's just any shop on Etsy is considered Etsy, even though Etsy doesn't even sell its own products.
Right. And so both Amazon and Etsy people have that. So
it's just that mentality website.
So now while I said here, the Amazon and Etsy, they're going to retarget, you have no control over retargeting. You have no control over the ad that they get retargeted with, nothing. Now, that's not entirely a bad thing, especially if you're not experienced at retargeting. That's not a bad thing, because retargeting is a skill. You have to figure out which ads are still going to work and everything else. So retargeting can still be expensive. So keep in mind, they're very good at it. They know it works. Etsy has done it, like I said, to a degree, and obviously it does work. Otherwise, they would stop. But you can retarget anywhere. So, for example, I don't know if Amazon retargets onto Pinterest or not, but you could throw, if you're sending them to your site, you could have a Pinterest retargeting pixel on there, and then you could throw up a retargeting ad on Pinterest. So now I should also say that when you have retargeting, it's based on whatever the platform offers. So, for example, if you're going to retarget on Facebook, so you build a retargeting ad on Facebook, if they go to Joann's.com, they're not going to see your ad. They're probably not going to anyway, because I doubt Joann's has any advertising on their site. But let's say that they had advertising on their site, they wouldn't have a Facebook ad on there. So when you're on, and I say that there are some networks that will incorporate it, but I think they're redoing all that. So let's just stick with the traditional. Facebook marketing is on Facebook, which is good, because if they saw you on Facebook in the first place and they see you again, then they're more likely to trust you more, and you've now warmed them up a little bit. But that doesn't mean, it's still a very cold audience. And if they go to your site, you can now have a pixel on your site where if they go to Pinterest and you have Pinterest retargeting in place, they could retarget you. You could retarget on Pinterest so that they see one of your products. Then, of course, if they go to John Smith's atticfinds.com and he's got Google Ad Network on his page, then you have the Google Ad pixel on your site, then you could retarget to them. And really, it could get pretty expensive if you wanted it to. But I think if you guys ever saw Ken, is Linda on? Ken Anderson? Is that his name? Ken Anderson? I think it's Ken Anderson, the guy with the conversion blueprint or whatever. Yeah, so he talked about this and he goes, yeah, he spends like $5 on 3 different platforms. So $5 on each platform a day, but he has a lot more ads, a lot more products running. And he's like, he doesn't even spend that much every day, but he does retargeting because he knows retargeting works. So if you're driving traffic, no matter how you're driving traffic, and of course we've talked about different ways to drive traffic for free, and we will again. with some more examples. But if you're going to Twitter and you're pointing people back to your page, if you're going to Yahoo Answers and you're pointing people back to your page, and you're going on to Facebook and you're posting this information and you're sharing it into groups maybe, and you're not getting banned, and then you're going, you're putting it on Pinterest and somebody clicks on that organically and goes to your site, those retargeting pixels can still make it so that you can retarget them without ever spending a dime up front. So now you're retargeting based on the traffic. Now, the only time that this really starts to work, now the retargeting is going to work anyway, but you have to keep in mind that that it has to be consistent, right? So that's why you want to retarget on multiple platforms as well. So if you drive somebody to alltimefines.com/Beagle shirt, then the audience, and so that somebody's looking at that Beagle shirt because they're interested in it. You may not retarget them with the Beagle shirt. You might retarget them with a Beagle mug or a Beagle collar or one of those scarf things. There's a lot of different things that you can do. So this is why it's very difficult to say where to start, because there's a pro to each of them. For me, when I look at this, I go, the easiest one to start on, well, easiest two, I should say, Amazon and Etsy. If you have products that you already know convert, that people have purchased more than once, you have a couple of sales on it, you have a pretty good conversion rate on it. You're like if you're getting a 6% conversion rate when you're driving people to your site, that would be good, right? So that's what we said would be good. If you're already getting that, then I wouldn't necessarily worry about reaching out to Amazon and Etsy, other than you do get that built-in traffic. But keep in mind that the second you put it on Amazon, you risk somebody copying it.
And Etsy technically, but
Yeah.
And now let me ask a dumb question. Okay, you have this split out, so the T-Rex site, Shopify, Amazon, Etsy, and then you keep saying you can have your. Are you saying Shopify is your own site type thing, or are you saying Shopify separate from your own site?
No, so you can have a Shopify site and a T-Rex site, but they would still be two different URLs, right?
But is the T-Rex site your main site then? Which one are you saying is your main site? Like what mine would be?
Okay, personally, I don't think anybody should be using the T-Rex site right now. That's my opinion.
But that's my point. So Shopify can technically be your main site if that's where you want to start it. Now, is the T-Rex site? See, I'm confused by this. I thought the T-Rex site was part of the print tech stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's not integrated.
Really. No, it's not. They can't get the integration to work with the T-Rex site. So the integration works with Shopify. The integration will work with their new site that they're coming out with in August, but it's not going to work with the T-Rex site as far as anybody can tell.
Well, let me put this in the mix too. Shopify is one of the most popular, I think it is the most popular selling site for people to start with. And almost every single print on demand out there integrates with it.
Right. So now what questions do you guys have about this? I'm going to pull up my little pop-out chat again, because this is a good segue into bringing in information about Launchcart. Wait, hold on.
Before I forget, you need to post this chart on the site, on the Facebook stuff.
Okay.
Generation, yeah.
I'll do that. Hold on. So what did I miss?
Everything. I didn't tell you anything.
Oh, seriously?
I was responding. Don't worry. I interrupted you a little bit. See right there. They're posted on the site.
Well, tell me, we need to figure out a way to flag these or something.
They're fine. The only thing is that there was a question about advertising. Wait. I just saw it a minute ago. Hang on. It wasn't that far ago. Trying paid advertising because you missed the response. Was it 2% on the Facebook with targeting fans? Like if 2%, is that what you said before? Hey.
Sorry. Okay, wait. So
when we were talking about when they were talking about if you put an ad and you don't pay, how many fans see that post?
Oh, yeah, it's like most people are seeing about 2%. So I mean, I think we have a little bit better reach than 2% right now. So let's just argument, it might be 10%. If you can get it to go viral, there's a possibility. But if you're putting a product out there, Facebook's going to minimize your reach. And there's one lady, the one that Linda had recommended, she did explain this a little bit better before I turned her off. And what it is basically several years ago, Facebook came out with we don't want you to put promotional content out there. And of course, what they didn't say was without paying us, because they want you to have the ads, but they still want you to do content. They're all about content marketing. So if you say, oh, here, buy this, go here, you are going to get penalized and your reach is going to be low. But if you have an ad that says, oh, check out these 10 pictures of, pit bulls, these 10 cute pictures of pit bulls, and vote on your favorite, right? So people click over there, and instead of having it be the whole page is about the 10 cute pit bulls, but you have an ad on the side, they're not going to care as much because that's content marketing. So there's a lot of variables that come into play, but like I share a lot of the content onto Bakers and I get a pretty good reach, but I'm sharing stuff that is getting a lot of reach on their main sites. And so the fact that I'm still only getting 200, 300, 400, 500 reach, which of course I know the reach numbers are still off, Linda. I know, I don't see if you posted that, but all the reach numbers are really weird. I'll have like 15 likes and it'll say reach 5. I'm like, how is that even humanly possible? If 15 people liked it, how do I have a reach of 5?
Yeah.
So
so the question in response to the 2% was that she was saying try a paid ad, test different versions is what she was thinking. Is that what you would do?
Yeah, I mean, you can. I just personally think that Facebook advertising is going to start to get too expensive. I know everybody's
It
still
already is
pushing it.
expensive.
Yeah, I honestly think since our profit margins on this particular print on demand model that we have with PrintTech are not that great. I mean, and it's not like they're not average, because they are average. I've talked about this a little bit on Monday with the merch by Amazon. Your profit range, if you want to be competitive and sell, even it's Amazon Prime, if you're looking at $3 or $4, and that's assuming you don't do any advertising. If you advertise it, it's going to be even less. So if you're looking at that same profit range for PrintTech anyway, so I go, okay, if my profit's going to be $3 to $4, that's assuming no advertising. Even if I put it at $5 or $6, a good, I'm going to tell you this, a good conversion cost on Facebook, okay, a good conversion cost, and this would be a year ago, so it might be even higher now. So a year ago, a good conversion cost that people were talking about was $5 per conversion. If your profit's only $4, you're losing money. If it's $5, it's break even. So if we're looking at $5 per conversion,
FBA is more expensive, but we're not doing that with these, right? This is print on demand stuff.
Yeah, this is print on demand. You can't do fulfilled by Amazon with this. The only exception is the Amazon merch.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not, you're not selling your own product. You're basically putting your artwork on there and getting a royalty. Yeah. So it's a little bit different. And if I could ever get into it, but they can't do personalization on that one either.
Well, but that's why you were saying to go ahead and sign up for that. I signed up for the invitation. Hopefully they'll send it to me. I know you're having problems getting into it, but that way, because we found out with that merch Amazon thing that you have only 10 spots to begin with.
Yeah.
So you get 10 designs you can put out there, and then you have to sell 10, I think, until you can move up to open up 25, and then you can sell 25 to open up the next one, and on and on. So I mean, if you haven't already applied, go apply to the Amazon merch thing. Just ask for an invitation and do that, so that way because it takes a while to get it. I mean, I don't know how long, but they said that it doesn't even open it up until they have a spot. Wait, it says too much stuff coming in. Well, oh yeah, that's good, Kim, thanks. Okay, so the own design on a shirt, we can't try to say. You can sell your own designs on t-shirts on Amazon, but we're saying the fulfillment by Amazon, which is where you send it to Amazon and have it sitting in their warehouse, would be Prime. And the only way to get the Prime outside of that, which you're not going to buy a whole bunch of shirts you don't know you're going to sell, is to do the Amazon merch. And they fill that with Prime because it's coming out of Amazon. They're actually printing it and doing it. So, but if you do it through PrintTech, you have to link all that stuff, and it's not Prime.
So you kind of cracked me up the way you're like, well, you wouldn't buy a bunch of shirts that you don't know sell.
Well, I wouldn't.
And then do you know how many mugs I have in my warehouse right now?
I'm sorry that you did that.
I got conned. Those people in China are good.
That's
keep your money if you don't. Approve it.
Yeah, no kidding. So what happened was the Amazon merch, that's that program or merch, Amazon, whatever they want to call it, they're a print on demand company is basically what it is. So they actually print and fulfill it with Prime, which is why we say go sign up for it, because you can, I mean, we haven't learned it yet, but we'll try and learn it and help with it. But that's the same, I mean, it's all the same type of stuff. And so what we're talking about is they also limit how many you have to sell at least one of that design within like 120 days. And then if it doesn't sell, I don't say give up on it. I say put it over into the Printech integration and still have it available, because somebody might eventually buy it. If you're paying obviously the monthly fee to have listings, so you might as well have that listing on there. Do you disagree, Kim?
No, I completely agree. But I do want to point out though that when Michael Shee, which wait, was it Joanne that asked if I saw that? Michael Shee showed his numbers, and he only did like less than 10,000 in a year. So
okay, yeah, well, the amounts you're going to make off of, even, I mean, most people, they sell, and this is all based off of research I've done over the years, but with print on demand stuff and everything, actually with t-shirts in general, the businesses that do t-shirt stuff is usually people that are selling local to schools and fundraising stuff and like that. That's where they make their money. They don't really make their money online a lot. They make some, but yeah, you're not going to make tons of money doing, I mean, unless you have tons and tons of designs out there and people are finding it. But, and it's funny that you said, I say, I don't know how much, you should really put stock into my what I say, because I was telling Kim that when it comes to promoting, I am all for hope marketing, where I just put it out there and hope people buy it. That's what I do. And that's why I said, we might want to continue with past, once you make the design, what do we do? Because I'm like, I don't know. I just put it out there and hope people buy it. And it usually works for me because I'm in a small niche.
well, and you've built it up. That's the
Yeah.
difference though. And this is the difference between hope marketing and, is there hope marketing training? No, Linda, it's just you throw it out there and hope. That's all.
Yeah. You literally just put it out there.
That's
So,
training.
well, let me also real quick. There was a question back before, is why I had not, like I said, they said, do you have your own website? I said, I sort of do. And you know this, I started the website, I started linking my Etsy site to it. And the reason I did it this way, that I go back to Etsy, is because I have inventory. So my inventory, there's programs out there that you can connect your inventory between different sites, but it costs an arm and a leg, and maybe even a couple other toes from my other side. But it's really expensive, and it doesn't always integrate with everything that you want to go on to. And for inventory, that is not the best option, to have a whole bunch of different sites, unless you've got plenty of inventory to cover it all. I'm very limited on my inventory. My market was Etsy. That is where I'm going to stay. I would never even try selling on Amazon. But, with having my own site, I have my own site that's just a regular WordPress site or whatever. And I send everything back to Etsy. I don't think anybody's come from that though. Honestly, I'm like,
Well, we haven't done any. We
I
haven't
barely have anything on it.
Yeah, we
I don't
haven't.
even have my listings on it anymore. I mean, I've got 2 sections on it out of the 16 or whatever they're on there. So I really haven't done much with it. But the other thing I said is that I'm really busy on Etsy. So it's hard for me to want to branch out into other locations when I'm so busy. But if I can have one location, that's why I was asking about the main site. If I had one location, like if I made my site a Shopify site for a print on demand, I'd make that my main site. I'd have people coming from there, and then I'd have it connected to Facebook and all that stuff. And, Twitter, is that what people use these days? I can't remember. Instagram, all that stuff. Pinterest, that's one. I'd have all that stuff connected to that one main site. So that way, there's kind of coming and going from all the different sites. But I'd still sell on Etsy and Amazon and etc. or whatever, because the more places that can even come back to that one site, even if they're buying on Amazon, even if they're buying on Etsy, if I can get people back to that main page and buying there too. I mean, there's all these people going back to my brand. So wherever they're buying from, they're going to be exposed to my brand. And that's why I was questioning the main site. I think it's important to consider having one main site, which right now mine's Etsy, but people can't come to Etsy and get information about, fabric or whatever. They have to actually question me, ask me questions. I can put all the information on my main site if I wanted. So having a site where people can find information is extremely important, especially once you start building. If people want to go, oh, hey, I want to know about your shirts, I want to know where you get these designs, or I want to know, oh, do they do this type of design? They might want to go to your main site to research that instead of, I don't know how many times I've gone to Amazon and looked up something and then I was like, what else does this person sell? And for me, I don't like having to click the little name on it and trying to find their store. It's difficult for me. I don't want to do it. So Etsy makes it a lot easier because you can just say, they'll say other stuff from this buyer, at least on the computer. But having one place that people can see all the stuff you offer is a really great way of giving brand information basically to people.
Yeah, so theoretically, if your T-Rex site is working, that could still be your main site. And what you would do is, of course, use Amazon and Etsy to test your designs. Okay, if they sell on Amazon or Etsy, then they're probably a good one to push. And of course, if you already have a converting product, you don't have to do that step. But if you don't have a converting product right now, then I would say, you can still have design on your T-Rex site or your Shopify site, or if you have an alternate WordPress site. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, if you don't have a converting product. Until you have a converting product, you're going to spend a lot of money testing if you do it on your own site. If you throw it on Amazon and Etsy, you could spend $20 in ads on Amazon. And if the product doesn't sell, you kill it. You're like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to sell that anymore. I don't know about Etsy. Etsy, I don't know. I spent $20 in ads on Etsy and never sold a dime. And yet I'm like, those are some of my best selling products on Amazon. So it's kind of weird.
I think that Etsy, I don't know that much about the advertising, but I think we're going to see a huge change in how Etsy pushes people because of what's happening at the end of the month with the TV. Just a whole different type of, they're trying to bring in so much different customers. I think we're going to see a shift in some markets. I don't know if all of them are, but I know mine will not. I don't know how many times people go, oh, I'm glad I found you. I sell on Etsy. I didn't think about buying from Etsy. I just cannot fathom the fact that someone sells on Etsy and they didn't think about buying a product on Etsy that they have seen sold. And so I think this marketing that they're going to be doing is going to bring in a lot of people that just didn't think about going to Etsy in the past. So maybe print on demand is a good thing to do there because people might start coming over there just for that.
Right. Well, and like I said, I don't think that there's one that's better than the other. I think you need to test depending on your niche. You may do better on one than the other, but the integrations, like I mentioned this before, if you hopped on the $9.99 integration, then it is for Amazon, then your Amazon expenses through the end of the year are like about $300. If you didn't, add in $60, so $360. And you can still get on there. You have your $39.99 seller fee. Now here's another thing. So this isn't like huge difference, but you have for Amazon, you have $39.99, but it's unlimited. Well, I say unlimited. I think it's like 100,000 listings or something before they start to get mad at you. So theoretically, that same price is 200 listings on Etsy, right? So if you're spending $40 a month on Amazon and $40 a month on Etsy, you have 200 listings going out. You should be able to find a pretty good winner if you've done some research and you have 200 listings out there. You should be able to find one that does well.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of what I pay on Etsy in new listing fees, I paid last month $40.40, and in renewing expired fees, which means that they've gone their 4 months, that was $106. So I spent $146 on, actually that's more than that because I did 35 off sold fees or sold renewals. So $180 in fees to relist items on Etsy for 1 month. That's in 1 month. So, I mean, if it was, I'm telling you right now, if it was a monthly fee of $40, I would love it. But my market's not on Amazon, so.
Okay, this is taking me too long to type out, and I can't spell.
That's okay, because I can read it. So
I know, I already can. So anyway, so it is theoretically unlimited, but if let's say that you have, there's a number, and I can't remember what it is. It might be 1 million, but there's a number. I think it's like 100,000 actually, where it says if you have 100,000 inactive listings, they're going to start charging you more money. So inactive means no sales, but who knows within what time frame. I will tell you all of their fees for selling are changing drastically right now because they are mostly on the FBA side, fulfilled by Amazon, because they are overwhelmed at their warehouses. And when Christmas comes, they actually they start turning people away, which really sucks for people like me because I am Christmas specific. So I always have to get in there. I have to start sending my stuff in by the end of this month, beginning of next month, even though they're like, oh, we don't want it until like October. And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter because it takes you too long to process. So I start sending my stuff in at the end of August, well, beginning of August, end of July. That's just the way you go. And they always lose like half.
But that's
my
why
stuff.
print on demand is really good, because if we can get our designs in there, especially if we can get some in the Amazon Prime and get people visibly seeing the brands,
Yeah.
that the brand that we want to do, whatever brand name you decide on, then people will be exposed to it before the holidays and hopefully buy from you at the holidays. So I have to go here in a few minutes, but at this point, I don't know what everyone's at. I know that designing is really hard for some people. I know we talked about Fiverr and how difficult it is, but I would suggest trying WordSwag. Do something easy, do something simple, and just get a design up there if you haven't got one. If you do have some designs, then go through some of the steps.
Yeah, so I think Joanne doesn't have a smartphone, but we also talked about this one on Monday, and that was
Put it in Word and italicize it.
well, can you even save it as a PNG though? That's the biggest problem.
I don't remember how to change it, but there's other programs on. I thought you said WordSwag you could do on.
No, I don't think you can, but there you can have some apps that'll convert it so that it'll act like a phone if you guys really wanted to do WordSwag. It is really, really easy to use. Yeah, Joanne, if you want to do it in Photoshop, and if you're confident to do it, then Photoshop works fine.
You could just do a block lettering, like just real simple, and just do it some kind of phrase that you want to do, and just try going through the steps. I'm telling you now, I could not wrap my head around everything that needed to be done, or even the process, until I walked through one. And you could go to these with us, I mean, as many times as you want, but you're not going to be able to actually like get somewhere unless you'd have the process to start. So using anything at that, they say, PowerPoint is a really good one. In fact, there's a lot of make your own clip art and PowerPoint things I keep seeing pop up. And I'm like, no, I have other stuff, but I use CorelDRAW because I bought it ages ago and that's what I know how to use. But it's literally like putting it into Word, typing out a phrase, and then trying to find how I like the look of it or whatever, and then just moving it around. That's what WordSwag basically does. It gives you pre-established positioning for the words based off of the length of the words. They don't know what you're writing, so it's just you look and scroll through and see which ones are the best ones. The transparent would be a PNG, so you're going to have to do that way. The words will be there, but there will be no background. So it should save as a PNG, right, on WordSwag?
Yeah, you can save it as a PNG on WordSwag.
I think you just have to do that.
Yeah, you just say transparent background.
Yeah.
But the you cannot do it on Canva without paying for the pro version. I was looking to see if they have any software in here that's good, because this one has some pretty cheap keys. So, but the other, like, I have my CorelDRAW that I use is old and it does like to crash every now and again. I got it off of Amazon. No, I got it off of eBay, right? eBay?
What was it?
One of those. CorelDRAW, but I have CorelDRAW 5. 5 and 6 are the ones.
We got it on Amazon.
Maybe? Okay.
Yeah, I'm positive you said I wouldn't buy something off eBay. No offense to anybody
So,
who sells on eBay.
it's not available anymore. But I think we got it for less than $100, and it was $86. Yeah, they don't have it anymore.
Well, because it's so old, and ours was someone had deactivated their licensing and then just resold it basically, or they acquired it from somebody and deactivated it, because you can do that. And then I upgraded mine for like $100 after that, and so I've got the newer version. But I did it because I use it for fabric designs and stuff like that. That's the only reason I did it. Otherwise, if I was just doing text, I would use Word or whatever I've got access to that I can put text in, and then I gotta go, Kim. Just do something like that. Just go through the process of doing it. It doesn't even have to be creative. Just do some phrase you think is funny and go through the steps, and that'll help you go, oh, I don't know why. For some people, especially if, I mean, I'm pretty creative, but sometimes I'm just like, I got to get that, something clicks when I go through the whole process.
Yeah, we got a great deal on that. Anyway, so you guys can check around if you're looking for software that you want to put on your desktop, but you can use Pixplosion, that's free.
Well, Linda, just go through, find somebody else's phrase and do it. Go through the process that way. Make some, what's a good phrase? Whatever, just do whatever. Do the word whatever.
Okay, now they talked about this. Michael Shee actually has some really good ideas. So I gave you guys that link before on.
Oh, you know, Kim, I got to go get the kids. So you guys can finish up and I'll talk to you later then, okay?
Okay, thank you
Okay, well,
for your help.
Chrissy out.
Chrissy out, yeah. Oh yeah, we're supposed to be coming up with a phrase, huh? Yeah, so Linda, that's what I don't, it's not even about being tired. It's about being, I mean, you could just not think of stuff. There's some people just aren't creative, but you don't have to have your own creativity. You can just come up with something else. I mean, I've told you guys this before, is that you can go on, let's see if you're on, I know I keep saying this over and over again. I got to think about how to do it. I have to go watch my webinars again. Meme, right? So you go to, or quotes. So we'll do baking quotes, but just because they're funny. And then we go to images, and then you can come through here and see if there's something. Yeah, the secret ingredient is always love. Yeah, we did that one. It didn't work well. Ooh, I like that one. Happiness is always a cupcake away. So you could take something just like this, right? Happiness is only a cupcake away. And you could swap out the cupcake, obviously take that out, put this in word swag, throw it over a cupcake, and then you're good. You've got one. But what I would do is once I found a couple of these before I started creating something, I would come into Amazon and I would say, if I'm going to do a shirt, I would say baking shirt and see what comes up. Ignore the sponsored ones because those are sponsored, but like they have this one that is not that high in rank. 58,000, that's not too bad. And of course, these are all going to be skewed because of the holidays. So these are probably pushed down because of patriotic stuff. So this one's not too bad at 500,000. My bestsellers at Christmas time are down past the million range right now. So all of this stuff will jump up. So I would come in here and say, okay, well, yeah, it looks like not do this one. This one's at 4 million. No, no, no. And it's prime. That's funny. That's so low. So anyway, so that's what I would do is I would come in here once I come up with an idea and see. Well, you want this. Oh yeah. So this is the, this number here, you want to be low. So like if it was number 1, it would be number 1 in clothing shoes. So it's their rank basically. This is the bestseller rank right here. And this is using the DS Amazon. You don't need the extended, just do the free version. DS Amazon Quick View. And that's a Google extension. It's that free version is fine. Yeah, you want the lowest number because what they're doing is they're telling you the rank based on whatever the parameters are. So like where it says rank not found, this one probably hasn't sold. That doesn't mean it's not going to sell because it could be new. It could be, in fact, that's why I have this. That's why I get the other version, is to see if there's a history, but they usually don't have history. Here, if you go to Google, because you have to be in Chrome, first of all, go to Google, so you're going to the Chrome web store. And then you can come in here and type in DS, what did I say it was? DS, Amazon, right? Amazon. Yeah, quick view, but we'll do quick. So it's this one right here, this DS Amazon quick view. And I'm not going to show you, just click add to Chrome and it'll add it. I already have this one, so I can't have both of them on here. So I'm just gonna leave that one. But you can come in here and you can use that. It's really easy. Very, Google has made it very easy to use Chrome. When they first got started, they had nothing on there. And now you can do way more in it than you can do in almost any browser. Firefox is still up there though. If Firefox was a little bit more Kim friendly, I'd be on it more, but it's not. All right, so what other questions you guys have? Let me put the chart back up real quick, if I can find it. Where did it go? I closed it or it crashed, right? Yeah, it's gone. And I know I didn't close it. Why do you do that, CorelDRAW? Let me make sure I'm really not. Maybe I did accidentally close it. Okay, so let's just go with questions then. I'll get that chart back up and get you guys a copy of it into the group. But we're at the point now where everybody's feeling like they're overwhelmed and they don't know where to start. And I think if you don't know where to start, if your T-Rex store is up and running and all you have to do is add a product, that's not a big deal. If it's not up and running, just start with the Amazon and Etsy integrations. Oh, right. So let's go back to the platform. Dang it, I really wanted that chart. I wonder if I can pull it up still. I wonder why it did that. Yeah. So it did kick me out. Okay. So here, I was going to show you guys here, you could also make this be your launch cart site, right? Because it's going to integrate. Uh-oh. Am I going to crash again? Looks like it. That's probably because I'm running the webinar at the same time. So yes, Sandra, I agree. They are talking a little prematurely about it. So one of the things that they did say is that they're going to integrate with PrintTech. The other thing that they talked about is that they're supposed to be a Shopify competitor. But that's kind of, to me, that's weird comparison. I understand what they're trying to say is like, oh, look, we can be as big as Shopify, which they very well may be. I don't know until they give us some more information. But the big thing that I see is that I had two concerns. One is that they're talking about collecting all of our data to make recommended products so that your store can have a recommended products based on another store's data. I don't like that. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be bigger than Amazon, Alonzo. Amazon didn't get this big overnight, and they started off reselling books. And that was a big market for them back then. So that was the number one thing I saw. But overall, what it seems like is that it could be faster. Sandra, you'd asked that. Is it going to be faster on the platform? It could be. Yes, that's the thing that I have to tell you that Greg always cracks me up. He's got such great enthusiasm that it's misleading. And that's what concerns me is he was very enthusiastic about T-Rex when I first got it, or Trex or whatever. And they never fixed it. There's not one thing you can do to optimize that site well enough. It doesn't matter. It's just the way it's written. The whole thing, the plugin, everything that works. Right, and so that's what it sounds like to me is that they're going to scrap the T-Rex plugin and focus on LaunchCart, which is fine. But if LaunchCart can't do the same thing with the preview as we can do on Amazon as an example, and what they promised on the T-Rex site, or what it currently does, is it's not going to be quite the same. And so no, actually they're scrapping it. I know, Joanne, they said they're not, but there's no way. They also told us they're going to come out with a new plugin within 7 days, and it's been like 2 months. So I don't think they can do anything with it. I think that their biggest, he said, oh, in all transparency, we're looking at selling. We may be looking at selling it. Yeah, I agree with that, but I don't know what they're going to do. Joanne, I don't know. We'll see. That's the biggest thing. They came out and said, oh, we're going to make things right. Like, is anybody clear on what they're charging the $1,997 for? Because that was very vague. They're like, okay, our launch, we're going to sell it for $1,997, but it's free. I'm like, then who's going to pay who's going to pay $2,000 to? No, Linda, they said their platform is going to be free. Right, some secret bonuses, free training for 6 months, which if it's the training that they're giving now, the only training they're bringing out lately, with the exception of every now and again where they actually have something where they share information that they know about, is either information that they guess on or they bring on guest speakers who are selling something. So, Joanne, you're thinking that it's not going to be free because he was saying, Greg was saying that he said in it, he goes, 3% transaction fee is going to be the free version. So you definitely have your selling fees. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is, so they talked about the 1,997 and then they're like, no, they didn't show anything. They showed screenshots and just because it's not loaded. If you looked, it was on his C drive. So he didn't have a live version yet. And they're talking about launching in August. So there's no way that they're going to show us anything until like right beforehand, which is not uncommon for a launch, to be honest. I mean, all the launches, big or small, are usually not done. They're not complete. In fact, I know of a couple people or a couple of companies where they released the product and then they had to shut it down during the launch because their server's overwhelmed. And so they were like, okay, so they lost like a whole day's worth of sales because they had to shut it down because their servers failed. And it's because they just didn't plan ahead. Now, I will be honest, like I said, I love the print tech integration. I'm going to say if right, Joanne, have you ever heard of Luke McGuire oh wait, is he doing a Luke McGuire for T-Rex or for himself? Okay, because I'm like, I think I got an email about that from Ken, I think, and so somebody must be doing a promotion because that's the only reason why that comes out. But we've all talked about this before, the Instagram, the influencer marketing. You can get a free training on that from Learn. Learn has that. Let me pull up my Learn page. See what I can get in, since I think I've like locked myself out 100 times already. So they have a free this influencer bootcamp that is free. It is 100% free. I have the paid version and you don't need it. If you do the free version, you'll get more than enough information for what people are going to be talking about. No, I agree. I just don't think you guys should jump into paying for whatever it is they're promoting. So Joanne said that you never know. Oh, obviously it's on the screen, even for the replay. So yeah, I mean, whatever it is that he's obviously going to be promoting something, but if you guys don't buy it if it's a class on it, unless they're giving you some sort of software or something. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is that Luke McGuire is also one of those. When OctoSuite first launched, they had server issues, and of course now OctoSuite is down, and he has nothing to do with it for the most part. And he's moved on to, which is really funny because he's moved on to cryptocurrency. He's making money driving some sort of fancy car with cryptocurrency. I know, OctoSuite was nice. Though I will show you guys this real quick while we have time. Let me look on, if you go to Facebook, what I've noticed is that, I don't know if this changed or what, but if I type in cake decorating, right? It's not exactly the word I want, but it'll help me. I can go into videos and it'll show me, I can see like the number of views and everything, which actually is not the best way to do it, but I can only see the number of views and then the date it was published. So, and then of course you can go, any date, you can go just for 2018. So you eliminate ones that are not from this year. And then you can see, if there's a lot of views or not. And if there's a lot of views or if it's recent with a higher number of views. So it's not as easy as OctoSuite, but you can still see and find some stuff. Like this one was June 3rd with 9 million views. So that one's probably pretty good for baking, I should say. Your guys's niches are probably better than this, since seriously, I don't think anybody. how's that only 911 views? So anyway. Aw, thanks, Joanne. I try to bring out some of the best pieces of information. But, I was talking with, like I said, with Monday, we mentioned this, that Christy and I are going to try to go through all of the steps and have videos and then break it out so that it's a lot easier for somebody who needs to focus. Because, even for me, like when I first got started doing, like I know how to design. I've been designing stuff for a very long time. But I'm not like an expert at it or anything. I do learn a lot, but a lot of it is I just learn as I go, and I'm a little sponge. I soak up as much as I can. But when it comes time, like I don't know how to hire a graphic designer without getting ripped off at least 4 times. And so when somebody goes, oh yeah, but then I sit there and I watch Michael Shee talk about it, and he's going, oh yeah, you have to hire 3 designers and then pick the best. I go, oh, see, that's about right. I just have to do 4, so that way I can pick the best of the 4 that are rip me off. So right, so that's and the other thing is that like this one time I did a 3D design, and I went to Fiverr, had the guy do it, and then I sent it over to the China people, and they're like, well, we need to clarify this and we need to clarify this. And when all was said and done, it wasn't good enough. Like the design was not right. Like they couldn't get it to work. And I'm like, how is it that I paid for a design that it's a mug, right? It's a 3D mug is what it was. And they couldn't ever get it to work. So I don't know where the breakdown was. Was it in the design or was it in, and I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of people on a lot of different, like if you go on Etsy, you can find people, you can try the people on Fiverr. There's I have a list and I will get that list to you guys hopefully by Friday. I'll try to put a list up on Friday. Let me write that down because I have a list of ones, like besides Upwork, which Upwork is okay, but they're kind of expensive. They're a little pricey now. There's Upwork, but there's like 2 other ones that came up. So I have to look at I have a list of them on one of my desks. Today's just a little off because my daughter's sick and we can't leave. Right. Yeah, that was probably the Gear Bubble presentation people. Can't think of her name off the top of my head. But yeah, so that's her thing is like, and Rachel, right. Yeah, so her argument is that, and I will tell you, Kevin told me the same thing. Kevin from the T-Rex, Kevin, nice guy, Kevin, that works with the 2 people that I never remember their names. Ren and Stimpy. Right. Okay. So Ren and Stimpy's friend, Kevin, that's in the Facebook group that helps us, he said that he does a lot of selling on Amazon, and his number 1 sellers are usually text-based. That's why Word Swag comes in handy. Because, or if you do Pigsplosion, right? You could do Pigsplosion and do the same thing on here. So you find your quote. I will say that that's not always true. The difference is going to be some of the best sellers I've seen are really good integrated graphic arts. So for example, there's the shirt that I think I've showed you guys before where it says daddy or father or dad or whatever you want on the side, and then it says you're stronger than Thor or smarter than Iron Man. It has all these on there. I don't know how they got away with that, but that was one of the best selling shirts that I've seen in a very long time. And that was because 1, it hit, there's tons of people. It was really good timing on it. And then 2, because it was mostly text-based, but they threw in appropriate images to bring that out. So that's where you kind of have to play with it and see. And that's where some of research will come in handy. But like the pirate shirts that I showed you guys on Monday, pirate shirts they're designed as like pirate, it looks like pirate wear. But if you had a saying with that, I don't know if it would work better or not, because there's none in the I never found any that had a saying. So it could say, I'd rather be a pirate, but instead I'm, something like that. You could have some sort of pirate saying on there, or just say arg, see if that works, right? But we don't know until we test it. So I know that Rachel says that, but you got to think of the numbers too. If 90% of people are just putting text-based out there, of course that's going to sell better than the other 10%, because there's more of them that are available. But I do agree that if I have a choice between pink lettering and black lettering, on a white shirt, I'll probably just go with black lettering on a white shirt. So, and I will also say that I think they also push the whole start with white shirt. Yes, Sandra, and that's why I think that's why it also sells better, is because people can do a lot more of it. But if that's all you want to do, that's fine. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The idea is to invoke emotion. So, Linda, I'm not quite sure on. I think this depends, and I know everything says that, but let me tell you why. So, Printex says they sell mostly white shirts. And I said, I think that might be because of the seller preference, though, not necessarily because it's cheaper for them. White shirts are cheaper than colored shirts. It's always been that way, always will be that way, even if they charge us the same. So Printex pushes the white shirts because it's cheaper for them. Well, and I think that's partly because of the dye and blah, blah, blah. But now on Amazon, I will tell you that I did get far enough in Merch by Amazon to tell you that black shirts, yes, Sandra, that black shirts, all dark shirts were better. So black makes you look thinner. Right. But so I think that's why Printex pushes the white shirts, is because it's easier for them to print on. But I will tell you that Amazon's telling us to use dark shirts. That's what they said. They're like simple designs, vintage designs, something else. I mean, you guys can look at it if you want to. Just look at the Merch by Amazon FAQ or something like that. And they share all that information on what sells best. If you guys can't find it, let me know and I'll find it. Well, Lyndon, I don't know that that's necessarily true either, because there have been plenty of, especially if you're on Amazon. If you're on Amazon, people expect choices. They're still going to pick whatever they're going to pick, but people kind of expect the choices. So I just think that you shouldn't worry about it. You should just get the design, put it on what you can. Because Christy and I are in the same boat. We're like, well, which ones do we do? And when we do our research, we're finding that in the particular niches that we're doing it in, that it's not white or black. Some of them it's bright pink that's better. Some of them it's, blue that's better. And we're going, so we don't, it's hard to tell for sure until you get it out there and do some testing. But if you're like, oh, hey, let's, throw a word swag saying out there with black letters on a white shirt or white letters on a black shirt, and, split test that or whatever. The idea is to get the design approved by the audience, right? You want to match up your audience to the design, and that way you can move from there. Yeah, it's not that you have to kind of like pay attention. Be looking for it, I should say. And you have to be looking for transparent, because most, like for me, I always look at it like I'm looking for a PNG, and really I wanted transparent. So that took me a little while to put 2 and 2 together when I first got started on it. I'm getting really nervous about my daughter, so you guys have to pop out the questions. I know she's not alone out there, but I worry. And she's about due for medicine. Okay, the dog lady. Oh, she might think of you as somebody else then. There's a lady down the street that walks a dog like every night with long sleeves and pants. Okay, there we go. Pitbull lady in Virginia. See, look, Sandra's dog lady too. You guys are silly. It is funny how Trek seem to have somehow targeted people who like dogs and people who are religious. Because that's like the 2 biggest groups. Like maybe cats too. I'm thinking I had a dog that was at the Catahoula, but it was not German Shepherd. She was something else. Yeah. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to know what their targeting was. I don't know how I guess I found their information through both 100K and Webfire though, so I just didn't come in through an ad. Oh, okay. Hmm. Yeah, because the other thing that I noticed that that T-Rex did, they have a lot of people who are new to online. I was very surprised by that. I mean, I talked to one person who's not in our group, that had never been on Facebook until then, basically. I have no idea. Linda knows more. But I think he said he got really busy with his Amazon stuff. I think he bit off more than he could chew, taking us on. So where's he posting it? Like on his own page, or is he posting? Because I haven't seen anything in T-Rex. So I do have to say this though, that I have to admire the fact that, you know, Greg Ryder and their team have kind of stuck it out and tried as much as possible with the T-Rex model, because it's a good model. But I do think, like, you know, they had mentioned at one point that they kind of stopped focusing on print tech and they were trying to build up print tech again. That's what the integrations are for. And I do think they made a good call there. And if they never get the T-Rex plugin working, I would say that for how much, even though I've learned most of it on my own, for how much more I know about print on demand and the opportunities that are available, that to me, my $2,000 or whatever investment it was for Trex was worth it. But I will say that I'm very eager to get going and get these integrations working and get some designs up and stuff. Because to be honest, I told you guys the Michael Shee presentation was great, but I got a sneak peek at the back of the one that he's doing, and I'm like, we know more than that. We know more than he's already teaching us so far. So I honestly think that we're all really there. We just need to start fine tuning it. The one that I said is going to be the Influencer Bootcamp. It's called Influencer Bootcamp. Yeah. That's the one that it's all talks about Instagram and influencer stuff. Yeah, no problem, Joanne. And if any of you guys don't have Learn or can't get in, just message me and I'll get you guys a link. Because they have a ton of free courses. Yeah, Steven seemed like a talker. So now we just need to fine tune. So everybody needs to, if you have designs, then start getting the designs ready. If you're already got the designs, you're like, oh hey, I need the next step, then go to that next step. Yeah, so Sandra, I can't post the link. You're gonna need to message me with email. It's learn.com, but you have to like get in. And let me see if I can get to this. Son of a. I know I did this before. Maybe you can. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. That's why. Right. Go back here. Oh, maybe you can get in. Oh, here we go. Never mind. I do have a link. Oh, Joanne had a link too. There you go. I don't think these points work, just so you know. The point stuff in here and everything, I don't think it's working. So when you guys get in here, don't worry about it because it's really weird. But they have a ton of free courses that you can take and you can learn about. And Oh, what I sent you, that one? Okay. Yeah, because Joanne couldn't get in without a link, and they told us we could invite 10 people until they do it direct or something. I don't know. It's weird. They're still working on merging everything on Learn, but they have a massive business, so. The one that I just sent's not it, Joanne, or the one you posted? Okay, so the one I posted is good though. It should be. It's directly how to Learn. There, I'll do it again. Yeah, like I said, Martin Cook seems really nice, but he doesn't have any software I need right now. And to be honest, I'm kind of dwindling down. I'm trying to narrow down my marketing from people because I'm really getting tired of being sold stuff. And then finding out that it's really not that great. His Facebook quotes, yeah. All right, well, I'm going to go check on my daughter because I do not hear anything, but she's not feeling well, so that makes sense because she wouldn't be giggling. Yeah, Sandra, this is what my sister, I was telling her, I'm like, oh, hop on this webinar that I'm listening to so you can learn about this tool. And she goes, I've never heard of it. I'm like, I've covered it like 5 times, my WebFire one. So, I mean, but that one's not critical. I mean, I can teach you guys how to use a lot of different things without adding more money and more cost to it, but it will take time. But I like kind of learning it anyway. And I think you guys probably would too, learning like how things work before you end up buying a program that costs an arm and a leg. Thank you, Linda. Good, good. Okay. Well, and reach out to me when you get a chance and we'll decide on, I'm going to base it off of this. So if you guys, maybe I'll put a vote up in the group and see what you guys want to know, what we want to focus on next. Like, do we want to look more at the PrintTech connection, or do we want to look more at other resources? Do we want to look at fine-tuning research? You know, we need to look at where you're stuck, because I can keep going over specific elements, but if that's not the piece that you need help with, it's not going to be very helpful. Right. No kidding. All right, so I'll try to put let me put this up there. Yeah, so everybody pretty much has a good idea on how to find an idea, right? Research is pretty good. Okay. And again, we're going to be doing some videos to supplement that as well. So if you're like, if you want to say, no, I want more information on it, give us probably a week, maybe 2 weeks, just depends on how fast we can get through them. With Cassandra sick, it might be closer to 2 weeks, and then we should have a good set of webinars. Yes, we are going to switch it to an hour earlier, so it will be at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, because you're in Pacific time. You're the same time with Chrissy. Nobody's the same time as me. Oh yeah, I need to also post everything as YouTube. All right. 5 hours, or only 2. Oh yeah, that's true. It will take time if we want to look at the. I'm in Florida. That would still only be 3. I'm in Texas, which does have 3 time zones in it, but Texas is big. So Launch Cart, we're not going to see anything about Launch Cart for a really long time, like probably a month. Yeah, I think that if you're doing anything with the Amazon or Etsy or Shopify integration now, I think you'll be pretty prepared for it. Because it's basically they're going to have the integration into Printech. Yeah, Sandra. We already did that once, right? Yeah, I'll list some options. I put that down. Cast a vote. I'll say we'll cover, this, or this, and then lets people in. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Sandra, that's exactly how okay, not to be mean because that is mean, but that's exactly what I told my husband. I said, I like Greg Greiner. He's like a really nice car salesman. I said, not the regular car salesman, but a nice version of it. Right. Bye, Joanne. Thanks for coming. Okay, you guys, I gotta go find her. I gotta go find Cassandra. So I will talk to you guys all next week. And in the meantime, just message me or put stuff in the group or whatever if you have questions. And we'll talk. We'll cover more on Wednesday. And then if there's other supplemental stuff we need to do, I'll do that as well. So Wednesday at an hour earlier, so 4 p.m. Eastern time. And I'll send out a notification of the change. Thanks, Alonzo. Everybody have a great night. Have a great weekend. See you next week. If I can find the button. This is why I can't do the Kim out thing or whatever she wants me to do. Here we go. Stop sharing. Let's stop sharing. And where do I end it? I can't end it. Like literally there are, oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, bye-bye. Bye, everybody. I think. It's not that funny. All right. See you guys next week. Bye.